the regular Common Council meeting, Monday, March 2nd, 7:03 p.m. Roll call.
Braun?
Yes.
Isa?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Radke?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Next item is Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
Confirmation of appropriate meeting notice.
Meeting was noticed on Friday, February 28th. Agendas were posted at the post office, library, and city hall.
Council acceptance of agenda.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Personal appearances. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to the minutes from February 17th.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
Any corrections or additions?
I just got a quick question. Third one up where it says we're,
Racetrack.
yeah, we approved the purchase of a scoreboard and racetrack. It can kind of be interpreted wrong because we actually are assisting in the purchase of one, paying a quarter of it. If you look at this, it looks like we're buying one for $1,400. We're not actually, it's $4,300. I don't know if we need a little to specify.
Oh, but we indicate the dollar amount. Does that make a difference or not?
Well, no,
just-
but I'm just saying it looks like we're buying a scoreboard for $1,400, but we're actually assisting in the purchase by paying a quarter of the $4,300.
For clarity, I agree with Jim.
But we're saying we approve, out of our budget, we're approving that purchase. I see what you're saying.
It just can be interpreted. Somebody looking at the minutes is going to interpret it as a...
We're purchasing it, and that is 1/4 of the cost. That is our share. If that was spelled out in there like that, would...
Correct.
Would that make, yeah,
We can add that easily.
good catch.
Yes.
He's the finance hawk. That's good. Dollar, good.
Anything else? Need a amended motion to approve that, or?
I'll amend my motion to approve with noted changes from Alderperson Burdick.
That's a second.
Okay, no further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. On to the committee reports with finance.
Okay, Finance met this evening at 6:30, and I will make a motion to approve bills and payroll in the amount of $110,107.68.
Second.
Any questions on the bills? Hearing none, roll call.
Davis?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
Isa?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Radke?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
And there were no licenses to approve this evening. I will make a motion to approve lowest bid in the amount of $2,935.64 for Memphis Net and Twine for backstop at Racetrack Park.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Davis?
Yes.
Isa?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Radke?
Yes.
Burdick?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to award the contract for grinding of the compost and brush piles to the low bidder of Atlas Custom Grinding in the amount of $7,200 and not to exceed $15,000, and for the funding to come from the 2019 surplus and Fund 206 refuse collection.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do. You said that all the bids were equal and everything, but was the bid for the job, or was the bid for like a day? Because you said that you're allowing it up, we want to allow up to 15,000, even though the bid was only 7,200?
Correct. The bids were all for grinding the existing piles as they were. So the various vendors came out with their various equipment, looked at it, and gave various estimates. Some gave a solid number, others gave an hourly rate with an estimated time they thought it would take them to grind it. So that's where those numbers came from.
So is this the Atlas, was that an estimate, or was that?
That was an estimate. There was a firm hourly rate, and the estimated time of completion was 8 to 12 hours. So the 7,200 is the 12 hours. But in case things run a little long, I'm asking for a not to exceed of 15,000.
Good with that? Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call.
Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Radke,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Isa,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve, to award bid to Arnie Lund Painting Service in the amount of $2,350 for interior painting at the police station.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Davis,
Yes.
Isa,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Radke,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Motion passes.
And I will make a motion to approve co-listing of Best Realty and Pat's Realty to advertise the sale of the Veterans Memorial Building.
Second.
Any discussion? Kathy?
Yeah, so I was here for the finance committee meeting, and I listened to the information regarding the realty companies that are involved. And I was interested to know that when you do have, or at least interested to hear, that when you have a known buyer, I think it was stated known seller, but I think you mean known buyer, or and in this case, there may be more than one, that realtor's fees are almost the same as just a regular realtor's fee. Am I correct?
Almost correct. Yep.
Yeah, 5% as opposed to 6%?
Actually, 4% and 6%. So there's a 2% different unless they co-list, then it would be 6% and 5%.
Oh, I see.
So in reality, there is a 2% difference for a realtor fee for an no one interested party.
For best.
For Best
For best.
Realty.
For best.
Yeah.
Yes.
4% for best realty if they have known buyer.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
also, this is not a narcissistic view either. I'm thinking or assuming that there may be other known buyers as well. I mean, if there are, but I did make my intentions known, and so I've bought and sold properties, and I know that oftentimes there are exclusions. So is the council aware of that? Sometimes people actually write an exclusionary clause when you have a known buyer to save yourself those realtor fees. I mean, is the council aware of that?
They were, the bidders were all given an opportunity to say zero or whatever number they wanted to. So there are services that would be provided by this person in getting us through that process. So I don't know what the council is aware of, but all bidders were given an opportunity to bid whatever they wished for that.
So if I might, correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy, so I think Kathy's wondering if since the finance committee went through the rating process or rating of each of them, and I don't know if, I assume the proposals were in council's the whole packet for council?
It was in the finance packet, so
Oh,
council gets all finance
Council
packets.
did, yes, okay, that's right. So that seemed, if those of you that were not at finance meeting, it's good to note that seemed to be the biggest discussion point. We made it very known that we're very fortunate in this community to have two realtors that are very high quality. But as we went through the waiting or the rating process, there was a difference between the seller or the realtor's fees for a possible known buyer of a 2% difference. I believe it's what Kathy was referring to, and she wanted to make sure that that gets brought out.
No, actually, that's not exactly what I'm asking. I'm
Okay.
asking if the council has reserved the right with whoever you decide. If you decide to have the realtors co-list so that it's both involved, or if you just choose one or the other, that you have the option to negotiate that percentage.
Sure.
Because you have a known buyer.
Right. I was actually surprised that the rates didn't reduce a whole lot if the buyer was known. I didn't expect it to be completely zero because they're providing a service and in business, that's kind of how things work. But I was a little surprised that it wasn't a lot less.
Sure. So what I'm just suggesting is that maybe it's non-negotiable. I don't know. But I was just suggesting or wanted to say that oftentimes when you have a known buyer, you can list that known buyer as an exclusion. Just suggesting that. And then also, approximately a month ago, or maybe it was 6 weeks ago, the topic of first right of refusal came up, and I don't know if that was ever resolved or...
I would defer to the council, and that was that Bill Morgan suggested that at any time, the lease could be amended to include a clause that would grant the current tenant right of first refusal
Right, you could do that.
at any point. So is that something the council would move to do?
Well, you'd have to take action to do that. Yeah, I don't think that's really appropriately on the agenda for this evening,
Okay.
but you could consider doing that at the,
Okay, we can add it at a future date.
yes.
But the motion was made by the council to list it with a realtor.
Right.
So that was the motion that really set in place your course forward. So, I mean, yes, a lease could be amended, but I guess my understanding, based on the motion, was that we were going to pursue a realtor as the process for selling this.
Which I think would give all potential buyers an opportunity to counter offer anyone else that's,
That's the language we were looking for. Can that be put in some,
but anyone can anyhow.
Well, right, but the difference with giving somebody a right of first refusal, that gives them a bit of an advantage, where if you're just listing it, nobody necessarily knows what anybody else is offering, but somebody with a right of first refusal always gets the chance to, you get your lowest offer, and you got that, but then you have to give that to them and give them the chance to beat that. That's the only...
Yes.
Right, which is...
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And of course you can probably understand the reason that I'm mentioning that now, because I have an established business in it. So that's why I'm asking that.
So listing with a realtor isn't necessarily inconsistent with doing that, but if you're going out there trying to get the best offer you can, that's still is going to be your lowest offer. The existing tenant would have to meet whatever the best offer that you were about to take, so.
So could we put that on the next agenda to talk about?
Yep.
So is that all we need? Do we need to say more, other than, can we have it on the next agenda?
It's up to the mayor to set the agenda.
I'd be okay with that. Do we continue with the process of hiring the realtor now then too, or do we hold that off till then?
Well, I think you can select your realtor and in that process.
Right.
I don't think you're bound to actually get the listing going. I would talk with them and tell them that you are interested in pursuing this aspect with the existing tenant, and I think you can work with them for the timing of when the listing would happen and get that going. So yeah, I don't see any reason to delay action on selecting a realtor.
Let's take care of the item on agenda
On the
tonight,
agenda.
and then-
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was,
Thank you, Ken.
if I remember correctly, that was a reason why we went ahead and looked for a Realtor, because we could discuss this after we got information from whatever Realtor about the property.
You'll
So,
certainly have an advisor.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't at the finance meeting, and I don't have it in my packet here, but from what I'm gathering here, Best Realty was wanting a 6% commission, and if they had a known buyer, then they wanted 4%. Am I correct in
Yes.
assuming? What was the fee for Pat's Realty?
Six regardless, they didn't give a discount.
Either way, okay.
And then with
And if they
the co-listing,
co-listed.
it averaged it out to 5.
Yeah, 6%, 5%. It averaged out to 5, yes. You're right, for the no one.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
These are their weighted totals.
And you guys all, it was ranked at finance. What was the quality-based ranking for each?
So the Quality Bank, well, this had fees included, correct? The overall percentage. So you want to go ahead with it, or should I?
The co-listing had by far the highest ranking with a quality-based ranking, because it was, I assume because everyone felt that they had the best of both firms. So if you
Oh, I thought-
discounted the fees, the co-listing had 5s all the way across the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
But individually for because not all of us were at finance. So did we want to address which one had the best ranking?
Individually?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't ranked, they're rated, so
Okay.
the numbers, Best Realty had a higher score with a quality-based, with just not taking into consideration the fees. Or they were very close.
They were very close, yeah.
287 and 286.
I kind of agree with what Cindy was saying earlier, or Candy, sorry, was saying earlier that that 2% difference or 1% difference can make a big difference in the fee.
What was the original motion?
So the original motion was to go with a co-list
Co-list, okay.
of both of them. And with that co-list, that would be a 5%
5% split.
fee for a possible known buyer,
As opposed to 4%.
as opposed to 4% and/or 6% respectively,
Correct.
with Beth's and then Pat's.
Did the Realtor have a proposed listing price?
No, not yet. That's something we'll work with them on.
6% is awfully high if we already have a proposed buyer or a known buyer.
Yeah, and Pat's isn't in consideration, so it would be 5 is what
It would
the
be
motion
5.
How-
Yep,
Okay, so
as a co-list.
So
if
they would
co-list it.
co-list, and they would each earn 5% commission depending on whichever one. So how would we decide?
No, it would be
who's gonna-
6% and then 5% for a known buyer.
And they would split that fee,
They split the 5.
but they don't each get 5%.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Only one, I mean, they would split it, or they each, if they had this, if they were the seller's Realtor as well as the buyer's Realtor, they would get the entire percentage, the entire commission.
That would be true of
Correct.
any Realtor, right?
Right.
Yes, so that's not
So
anything.
this way, they're going to be co-listing, and they're each going to get 2.5%?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume they'll split it evenly.
Whatever they,
How-
yeah.
If we have a known buyer, how do we decide which one then to go with if we already have a known buyer?
So,
Which known buyer?
If Kathy Engler wants to make I mean, she's already said that she's interested in the property. This is her argument to begin with here. How do we decide which Realtor I mean, we just
The
say, okay,
co-list
you're
would take
co-listing, so
over.
you each get 2.5%? Is that how it would work?
I guess I'm not following your question.
Okay.
Who would
Kath-
handle the work of the
Yeah.
of the realtors?
Yeah, I
They
mean,
would.
and if they would co-list and and if Kathy Engler, for example, buys it, then each Realtor would split the 5%, is that how it would work? Because they'd both be listing it?
No matter who would buy it, if we go with the COLAs, that would happen.
Oh.
But we don't know how they're gonna split the work between them. That's up to them.
Yeah. That's,
We pay the 5, they split it up any way they so choose, right? That's what we're limited to, 5%.
we are as trusting of the COLIST as we are of the individual realtors.
Okay.
So they divide at their discretion, and we, as the seller, are just taking the recommendation.
You weren't here for finance, but the reason for the COLAs was more marketing availability with the two different realtors. Don't know how much more we need myself, but
There is a
It's a valid
video,
point. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's a
don't-
valid point.
there is a video aspect that was cited in the best quote, and it may be that Pat's offers that as well, but since it was cited and it was detailed, we thought that was a plus. And they're not going to leave it out of the COLIST, so we're going to really enjoy that. It enhances foot traffic.
Although I suppose if we're considering the fact that we'd like to have known buyers in the equation, then that's kind of redundant to need those extra resources. And
And
that
there is-
saves a percent.
There is an
in
MLS.
cost.
They can look
Yeah.
up anything that's for sale, anybody can.
okay. Is there more discussion on this?
Maybe remind everybody exactly what the motion is?
Yes, could you read the motion back and then we'll, please, and then
Okay,
we'll.
go ahead, Cindy.
Oh, so the motion was to award the Realtors RFP to assist with the sale of the Vets building to the co-listing of, with Best and Pat's Realty. Best Realty and Pat's Realty.
And that was with a 6% commission and a 5% with a known potential buyer. No further discussion? Roll call.
Davis,
No.
Isa,
Yes.
Olson,
No.
Oh.
Radke,
No.
Burdick,
No.
Braun,
No.
Okay, motion fails 1-5.
Does this mean we go with one or the other?
There has to be a motion.
Somebody make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Best Realty RFP for advertising the Vets building.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Radke,
Yes.
Braun,
Yes.
Isa,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Burdick,
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yep. And that's all from finance.
It was kind of light tonight. Yeah. Thank you. Tourism Board. Yeah, I was there. Put on a couple new commission members.
And they're looking for, to develop their plan of how they're going to proceed to market the area. I think they're going to talk to some outside experts and try to get some ideas.
For the marketing part, and then
Who are the other members?
the owner of the Quality Inn,
Okay.
Comfort Inn in Newville, and the owner of Coachman's.
Okay.
Sagar, and I don't remember what his last name was out there,
I don't either.
and Teresa Johnson from the Coachman's. Okay, Public Works.
We had a meeting last Monday. We discussed the Henderson Street cul-de-sac. We also discussed the compost pile grinding quotes, which we just reviewed in the Finance Committee, and talked about possible areas to have rapid flashing pedestrian lights.
Thank you. Safety.
Public safety met 6 o'clock tonight, and Chief went over a few things that he's done recently, and he had a mandatory training from CPS, hooked up with the chief and gave a very good training, he said, to all the employees on the reporting and procedures and who to, individually, that is. And he signed up a commitment to partnership with the Evansville Police Department, and then they're looking for a grant on something, and they need a partner. So he signed us up for it, or his department up for it. It's nothing, no cost, just a simple signature, and they partnered up so they can get the grant, and if it goes through, it could possibly help us in the future. So it was a good way to go. He was going to introduce a new officer, but it happened to be his night off, so maybe we'll all get to meet him at our next meeting.
It'll be Jesse.
Jesse Jacobson, the new officer. He's been on about a month, said he's working out well, but again, he wasn't able to come tonight. They also had a CPR training for all the officers. They're good for 2 years. Fire district put that on for them, and so they're certified for another 2 years. He's talked about putting on another shift once we get the officer trained, Jesse and the rest of them to finish training. He's going to have a power shift, fourth shift, which would be replacing Lieutenant Virick's old shift, I guess, or something on that area, which he's still working on the lieutenant position, so we don't have that out yet. He put out a beautiful 2019 annual report that you guys will be getting a copy of. Maybe the color copy, I don't know yet. That's up to review, but it's for a lot of info in there listed for you to go through when you get a chance to it. But so it's
I believe that one was to be left down here.
Yeah, maybe, you think. Okay. And on that note, that's about it, I think.
I have to say, looking at this, since you're talking about the report, this is wonderful. This is, I was wowed by this when I read this. And so is this something you said is going to be made public or available for the public?
It's already on the City of Edgerton website. I shared it with the police commission and the schools so far. So you can get a copy over to the library. It'll go on Facebook.
It will go on Facebook. Okay. This is wonderful. Very, very.
A lot of good data in there.
It is. Well, it's just good to have that, and I think it's good for the community to see it too. Kudos.
Transparency.
Kudos.
Well, National Night Out, August 4th, we'll get that on the 2020 this year. And he's going to put on an anti-human trafficking presentation at the EPAC in May. You'll be getting more information on that.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Chief, for the report. Let's see. Mayor, Alderperson, and staff reports. You covered a couple of them with the public safety that I had here was the new officer and report. The only other thing I have is we got a thank you from the Timmy Ronneberg family for our thoughts with them in the last few weeks here. Other than that, I don't have anything.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.